Every morning, we rise, ready to meet our human potential, to take that next incremental step, to do the hard work that changes. Set in our preparedness and confidence in that moment when you know, I've got this. And then we rise. Each of us, all of us. We rise as passions coalesce in research, art, athletics, and beyond. We rise to the challenge of inquiry and discovery through undergraduate research and hands-on learning. We rise through the personal attention of a small college, fueled by large university resources. We rise to the need for listening across differences, teaching the art and the act of conversation. We rise to the sounds of a vibrant, diverse, and culturally rich city, and we reflect it. At Trinity University, we recognize that you are here because you are ready to rise. And through a love of learning and a life of learning, we will challenge you to always reach beyond the horizon. Because your future awaits.
It is Senior Saturday here in San Antonio, Texas, and welcome to Trinity University for an SAA conference matchup between the Trinity University Tigers and the Southwestern University Pirates here for the final home game of the regular season. Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Senior Caleb Reed, joined in the booth by freshman Andrew Thomas. And Andrew, Senior Day, going to be a big one, potentially could have some conference implications as well. What are we looking for out of both of these teams here this afternoon?
Well, as we talked to Coach Urban this week, he said, these next two games are must-win. So I think today we're going to see the Trinity Tigers try to come in, get a big win. As well as today, it's the coolest day of the football season so far here at Trinity. It's a nice 75 outside.
Had a cold front blow through earlier on this week, brought some storms with it, brought some much-needed rain, and it's brought some much-needed relief from the heat. But, of course, you mentioned a must-win game. Trinity, so far this season, coming into this game at a 6-2 record, Southwestern 4-4. They are basically eliminated from conference contention at this point. Trinity still with a hope, though. They need a lot of help from the outside. They're going to need a center loss sometime within the next 2 weeks. Center currently playing at the moment against Rhodes. And so throughout the afternoon, we will be making sure to give you updates on that game. Last time that we saw the Trinity Tigers, 2 weeks ago, against the Barry Vikings, it was another must-win game, and Trinity pulled out one of the best games of the season that we have seen maybe ever, definitely this year, whenever they took Barry to overtime and won it here at home 38-35. In the week in between, Trinity went on the road up to Conway, Arkansas for one of the most brutal road trips of the season, an 11-hour bus ride up to face Hendrix, which they ended up winning 26-7. So currently riding a 4-game winning streak at the moment. Southwestern with a 1-game win streak after their 35-10 victory over Sewanee. And so now that we have gotten the coin toss done here, it's time to look at the starting lineups here for the final home game of the season between these two squads. For Trinity, your quarterback, of course, Ryan Back, 1,700 yards over the last 8 games, 12 touchdowns and 5 interceptions. He's thrown for 1,100 yards and 9 touchdowns in his last 4 games. Meanwhile, Winston Hutchison will be getting the starting nod at running back, joined by legend Grigsby as well at the position, with Trinity running their really kind of a 2.5 back system. Of course, Johnny Milo, the junior out of the Woodlands, also joining them at that spot. At wide receiver, Tyson Hancock, Alex Tavares, and the captain, Will Taylor, all going to be at the spot, alongside Alex Teal at tight end. B.J. Rainey, the senior, will be subbing in off and on throughout the game. Meanwhile, at offensive line, we're going to be seeing John Hughes, who we actually got to talk to earlier this week. We'll be mentioning our interview with him throughout the game, as well as Jake Lichty over at left guard, Caleb Bear at center, Connor Keel at right guard, and Ryan Ainsworth over at right tackle. Trinity will be receiving the kick first here, meaning the Southwestern will get the ball at half. Kicking this one off for Southwestern is going to be their senior, Charles Fournier, the senior out of Austin, Texas, 6'1", 170. He boots this one away, and it will be going over to Jason Love, who can't hang on to it. He picks it up at about the 4-yard line. He's cutting through, gets tripped up, and gets brought down to about the 23-yard line. So could have been disastrous there on the play, but fortunate to avoid any kind of disasters, and we will see the Trinity offense coming out first. So Trinity going to start the drive here at the 23. On defense for Southwestern, Marion Williams-Jack, number 90, the defensive end, joined by Jalen Levine. As this is going to be a handoff to Grigsby to start for the first play, gain of about 2. Chucks Ikwumisi From Nigeria, the senior at defensive end on the other side will be number 37. Currently in looks to be number 92, Braden Cundiff, freshman out of New Braunfels. Back in the gun, claps once, then takes a snap. He takes a 3-step drop. He throws over the middle of the field, incomplete off the hands of Alex Teal. In coverage there was Aiden O'Connell, the linebacker, joined alongside Caleb Harmon, the freshman out of Hockley, Texas, who, goodness, he's been everywhere so far this season. Leads the team in total tackles, solo tackles, tackles for a loss, sacks. And at just a freshman, he won SAA Defensive Player of the Week last week. He is the player to watch on this defensive front. Also in the second level is going to be Cesar Navarro, as well as Jameer Martin. Those two linebackers will be aiding O'Connell and Harmon. Back takes a 3-step drop. He throws complete to Winston Hutchinson. Hutchinson powering through the tackle, but I don't think he's going to be able to get to the first down. I think they're going to mark him just about a yard short, and we'll see what Trinity opts to do here.
Good play there by Ryan Beck, able to, get close to that first down if he wasn't able to get it.
So it'll be 4th down and 2. Trinity going to punt it here early. The other defensive starters for Southwestern, J.P. Reyes, Cam Willis-Roberson, Darnell James, and Dylan Jackson at safety, and cornerback, respectively. Kicking this one away is going to be Tyler Huddle, the senior out of McKinney. Handles it well and booms this one away. And fair catch going to be called for here by the punt returner Noah Long, the freshman out of Kyle. And so now we're going to get a look at the Trinity defense coming out. Johnny Nwobodo, who has been kind of banged up a little bit throughout the last couple of weeks. He is at the defensive end spot closest to your screen. Joined alongside Max Shillstone and what appears to be, yes, that is Steele Herndon there, also on the defensive line. All of the defensive line has been kind of banged up throughout the last couple of weeks. Southwestern takes snap. It's going to be a pitch out, and it's going to be a good run of about 5. Up to, that's going to be about the 26-yard line. Meanwhile, Wakil Mateen, the sophomore linebacker, joins Cade Rapson, James O'Gunran, and Ryan Ventura. Ventura last week, of course, had that big strip sack taken in for a touchdown against Barry. And then in the secondary, John Cole McAdams, Delvin Gant, Lucas Marine, and Anthony Njoku round out your defensive starters. This is going to be a handoff going over to the right-hand side, and he gets pummeled, dragged down by a host of Tigers there. Cade Rapson and Ryan Ventura, the first two in there, to get the stop.
Good play there by the Trinity defense, able to get in there and stop number 11, Leroy Rodriguez, who so far in the season has 140 carries for 693 yards.
Southwestern is a team that loves to run the ball. They are the leading rushing team in the SAA coming into this game. They also have the best rushing defense as well, which is why it was kind of a bit surprising to see Trinity go for perhaps a more rushing-oriented attack to start this game. It's going to be a handoff. It's going to be play action, actually, and it's going to be a dump-off pass. Might be short of the first down there, but it's looking close, and actually they are signaling for the first down, so Southwestern gets 2 first downs on their first possession of the game.
So you can see here in the play, Jalen Springs looked downfield, finds his man. His man's able to sort of get through, wasn't able to break the tackle, but he got a couple yards out of it. One thing I'd also like to point out as well is Jalen Springs, their number 7, their quarterback, has 210 rush yards for 8 touchdowns this season so far.
Springs, a sophomore out of Fort Worth. He gives a handoff, and that is going to go absolutely nowhere. Jackson Priestmayer, the freshman out of Sugar Land, Texas, breaking through the line and getting the big stop there on Rodriguez.
You see in the replay, Rodriguez looking for the play. There were no blockers, and they were able to get through and bring him down hard.
The offensive starters for Southwestern at quarterback is Jalen Springs, running back Leroy Rodriguez, wide receivers Graydon Thompson, Sam Johnson, and Jacob Washburn. Johnson has been kind of hobbled throughout the season, ended up hurting himself in the first week of the regular season, but is back now. It's going to be a pass, actually, for Springs. He gets hit on the throw. He throws over the middle of the field, intercepted. Anthony Njoku broke it up there. It was almost a big sack as pressure was coming in the face of Springs. But instead, an incompletion, which, I mean, if Njoku had managed to get turned around on it in time, that could have been a pretty easy pick as well.
Yes, just as good. As you can see in the replay, Jalen Springs, found his man. His man just wasn't able to get around and get it. It was a little bit underthrown there.
The pressure there came in from Johnny Moboto on the outside. Isaac Podraza, the H-back receiver, also in as a starter. As Springs tries to take off with it, he's going to go nowhere there on the draw. Might be lucky to get back up to the line of scrimmage, but that play went nowhere fast.
As we noted on earlier, Jalen Springs is a man who likes to rush. He actually has more rushing touchdowns this season with 8 than he has throwing. He only has 5 throwing touchdowns so far this season.
210 rushing yards coming into this game for Springs. The sophomore who newly announced head coach Bill Kriesel mentioned is just a really calming presence. Very, very calm demeanor. Doesn't lose his cool very easily. And someone who this Pirates squad is going to be looking to operate behind for quite a long time, as Will Taylor gets dragged down for a gain of about maybe 4 on that kick return there before going down at the 27-28 yard line.
So you can see in the replay, good play there by the Southwestern special teams, able to get through, bring him down for no gain. As we've seen all season, the Trinity returners have been very prominent.
You saw 2 punt returners back there, and that's something that whenever we talked with kicker Tyler Huddle about, he mentioned that Trinity is going to be trying a little bit more things this week. They're going to be trying to mix things up, bring in some trickery, and see what they can do as back spins around for the handoff to Hutchison. Hutchison breaking a tackle and still going. He is across for the first down up to the 40-yard line there. Great play there by the fifth-year senior.
Nice little trick play action right there by the Trinity Tigers. Able to, as you can see in this replay, able to kind of confuse a couple of the Southwestern players, maybe get a couple yards out of there, and very good blocking there.
It's all about the offensive line work whenever you're running the ball. And, again, we got to talk with left tackle John Hughes as this is going to be a pass out to Huerta. Huerta trying to cut back and ends up falling backwards there, slipping on the turf just a little bit. Gain of about 2.
Good play there by running back, able to find a man. He was wide open over there. Obviously, unfortunately, fell, but he could have got a couple extra yards out of that.
When we talked with John Hughes, who has quite a big family contingent down here as well. Almost an entire row of the stands is filled with Hughes shirts down there. He mentioned, of course, senior day, a very big and important day emotionally for the team. His back takes a 3-step drop. Pressure is coming from all around him. Lots of defensive linemen fall down. It's actually complete over on the right-hand side and still going. B.J. Rainey up for a big first down.
Great play there by Ryan Beck, able to slip that tackle, roll out, find his man for a senior-to-senior connection.
That is the kind of heads-up play that you love to see from your senior quarterback, as that was a lot of pressure there. Great job by the offensive lineman managing to knock down some of the defensive linemen as well and give back that extra space that he needed to complete that throw over to Rainey, who, even though he doesn't have the most receiving yards on the team, is tied for the most receiving touchdowns this year at 3. It's going to be a little dump ball pass to Morkovsky, and Morkovsky gets stuffed at the line, going absolutely nowhere there. I believe that the defender there was Liam Phelan, the defensive tackle senior out of Cyprus.
Good play there by the Southwestern defense, able to penetrate, bring him down hard for a loss.
As one of the Southwestern players just threw something over the sidelines. That was a huge throw of something. Not entirely sure what it was, but now getting set up with a second down situation here. Hutchinson going into motion. It's going to be a handoff to Grigsby. Grigsby trying to cut over to the left-hand side and gets nowhere. Loss of about 3 on the play. As I believe that was Caleb Harmon, the one who brought him down.
So you can see on this play, Grigsby looking for space. Harmon, who, you're going to hopefully see a lot of today, has been very good so far. He's able to bring him down for that loss.
Sorry, not Harmon. Dylan Jackson, the freshman cornerback out of Houston, was the one there on the stop. Harmon was coming in from behind. As back takes the snap, he's going to throw a little screen pass over the right-hand side to Rainey. Rainey cutting through, and he has a little bit of space, and that space closes pretty quickly as the drive just went back and back and back. And that'll turn a 1st and 10 into a 4th and 20 pretty quick, and Trinity going to be forced to punt it away.
One thing I believe you mentioned earlier was, Southwestern has a very good rush defense. So it's very interesting to see the Trinity Tigers coming here and, doing all the runs they can, even though they'd be more profitable to air the ball out.
Running is really Southwestern's specialty. They're kind of middle in the pack in every single stat except for the rushing categories. As Huddle had a little bit of pressure there. This is going to be a high kick and taken in there by Long for a fair catch. We're going to continue with the offensive starters here for Southwestern. We weren't able to get to the offensive line, which is Reed Robinson over at left tackle out of Dripping Springs, Trey Flores out of Georgetown, the hometown kid, over at left guard. Demetrius Elko, the senior out of Katy, Texas, lines up at center, with Josh Taylor at right guard out of Richmond, Texas, and Connor Muma, the freshman out of Magnolia, Texas, at right tackle. Southwestern and Trinity played a lot many, many years ago. The inaugural season for Southwestern was 1908, and their program lasted until 1950, as this is going to be a handoff and a run over to the right-hand side. Actually, a good run over the right-hand side, good for a 1st down there, as it's Sam Johnson, the receiver out of Flower Mound, who made that run.
So you can see here in the replay, he had some blockers. He was able to find some space and get all the way up on a, rush defense on the Trinity side that's been pretty solid so far this season.
Going in the Wildcat here for both the last play and this play, Jalen Springs is off on the left slot position, as taking the snap is Johnson. Johnson going to take off with it himself, and he's going to get pummeled at the line. James O'Gunran, Cade Raps, and basically every single senior on this defense closed in at once and managed to get that stop there on Johnson for a gain of, if he's lucky, maybe 2 or 3.
That time there, the Trinity defense was not fooled. They were able to get in there, able to break those blocks and bring them back down.
Whenever we talked with defensive lineman Johnny Nwobodo, he mentioned that the rush is going to be huge, and everybody needs to make sure to focus on stopping the run, but also playing complementary football in all 3 phases. As Springs now is going to take off with it. He lined up at quarterback for this particular play. He's going to get up to about the 45, 46-yard line, short of a 1st down, but he'll set up 3rd down and short. Talked with head coach Jeremy Urban as well, and he mentioned Trinity needs to win the turnover battle, but also it's going to be very, very big to try and make this team one-dimensional. They need to focus on making Springs pass the ball a little bit more. He does have 7 interceptions on the season, so they're hoping to try and force Springs into a bit more mistakes if they force him to throw the ball. Moving on the line, that's going to push him back 5. Both teams pointing towards each other there, and looks like it's going to be called a false start on Southwestern.
Costly mistake by Southwestern. They were, right at the line where they need to be, and unfortunately pushed back 5.
And so from 3rd and 1 now to 3rd and 6. As that's something that Coach Creasel was talking about. Need to have good field position. Need to, of course, take care of the ball and establish a line of scrimmage. Can't allow a ton of interior pressure to come in from this Trinity squad. Springs takes snap. It's going to be a handoff, and nobody is there to stop him. A good run up to the 50-yard line and actually across midfield up to the 49. And a good gain for the 1st down there on 3rd and 6.
good playing call in there by the Southwestern offense. There was a very interesting play by the Trinity, to do a full blitz. It really opened up for that big run there and that big first down.
We talked with James O'Gunran, another big senior linebacker. He mentioned that identifying and closing these gaps is going to be huge and important. As this is going to be a run out to the left-hand side. Cade Rapson with a huge hit there on the stop of Johnson. Rapson, the team leader in tackles. And he showed why right there. A huge hit and a great wrap-up.
You can see in that replay, weren't enough blockers for, Rapson to be stopped, and he was just able to get in there and bring him down.
This is a very dangerous defensive unit, as everybody working together can be a game changer in their own way. Springs play action. He's going to try. Trinity fans want a flag. They're going to get one. It's a deep downfield heave that's incomplete. Intended there for the wide receiver Thompson, but it's going to be pushed back 10 for the holding.
Another costly error there by the Southwestern offense.
Reed Robinson, the sophomore left tackle out of Dripping Springs, who's played in all 8 games so far this season, going to get credited there with that hold. The 5'11", 245-pound tackle was holding there on the defensive lineman. I believe that would have been Jackson Priestmayer. Either Priestmayer or Jackson Berry, the linebacker who was in on a blitz. 2 receivers to the left, 2 receivers to the right for Springs. Running back set up behind him and now moving over to the back left. Springs is going to be a handoff and going to get wrapped up there at the line. Great job there by, I believe that's Priestmayer, who brought down the running back Devin Phillips, the sophomore out of Rockport.
You can see here in the replay, the Trinity Tigers, they're used to that run so far, and they're able to get in there, find him and bring him down.
And so on 3rd and 18, a definite passing situation here for Southwestern. They were able to get a good 3rd down run their last attempts, but running on 3rd and 18, that's going to be pretty hard. It is actually going to be a little jet sweep here, and that one is going to go nowhere to Johnson. Maybe a gain of about 3, and Trinity says they had the ball. The officials say they had the ball. The ball came loose, and Trinity recovers.
Big play there by the Trinity defense, as you can see in the replay. Jet sweep, came around. I don't think you actually are able to see the ball come out, but as you saw, Trinity Tigers just dove on that ball there. I think there were like 5 or 6 guys there.
I think it came loose on the contact. I saw it move away from the arm for just a split second, maybe a couple of frames. And that'll set up Trinity with very good field position there. The first turnover of the day. They had 5 against Barry 2 weeks ago. Back takes snap, drops back 2. He looks, he's going to fire over to Hutchinson. Hutchinson breaking 1 tackle and powering forward up to the 38-yard line for a gain of, let's go ahead and call that about 8.
Good play there by Ryan Back, able to, find his man short, pick up a couple yards, and start the drive off well.
Trinity is a team that is really above average in the conference. They aren't below average in any category. As Back takes a 5-step drop. He looks, fires over the middle of the field. Complete and still going. Will Taylor in for the touchdown. The senior here on senior day gets his 4th of the season. And what a play that was there.
What a look there by Ryan Beck. I believe Will Taylor there was triple covered, maybe even quadruple covered, but Ryan Beck was able to find his pocket, find his man, and connect for the senior-to-senior touchdown on senior day.
That was a beautiful play there. Will Taylor, the junior out of Houston, putting in the work. He was named captain for a reason this season. And now Huddle getting ready for the PAT. He had 2 last week against Center. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up and kick is good to make this a 7-0 lead. But Ryan Back, he struggled a lot earlier on in the season, especially against TLU. He didn't look very confident. He looked like he was kind of struggling a little bit to make his reads. But over the last couple of weeks, we see that replay. Oh, what a beauty that was there into double coverage. He's just making so many good throws recently. He had the big touchdown to B.J. Rainey, which was honestly a 50-50 ball that was put right on the money. He had, obviously, this most recent touchdown pass here. He's gotten a lot more confident in his playing ability over the course of the season so far, and it's really showing here.
Yes, it has. And it's a big reason, too, that Trinity's been able to recover the season so well is because Ryan Beck and the offense and the entire team really come together and starting to play Trinity football.
Trinity football, of course, playing as one unit, really working together very well, and it's a big part of this turnaround. As you notice here, Trinity lining up for their kickoff a little bit differently. They are putting the ball all the way on that boundary there for the left hash. Tyler Huddle mentioned that this is going to be something that Trinity is trying to do, just kind of trying to throw Southwestern off their game a little bit, bring in some trickery. As this one is kicked well. Fair catch called that actually hits right at the front of the end zone. Oh, they're going to say that it landed in the end zone. Just a little bit less wind there, and that would have been a huge heads-up play. As the kick returner there, I believe that was Phillips there, let it go. And could have been disaster there for Southwestern.
Yes, it could have. That would have, made it very hard for them to run all the way down the field from there.
And so now we're going to see the Southwestern offense coming right back out. Jalen Springs at quarterback. As Southwestern now finds themselves trailing. Thought about the pitch. He's going to try and throw it. Pressure coming. He throws deep over the middle of the field. Incomplete. A bit overthrown there, intended for Blake Garcia. But there is a flag down. Going to see what it's for. It's going to be called roughing the passer there. The defender, Azrael and Gotcha Smith, the freshman out of Irving.
You weren't able to see it there on the replay, maybe just a little bit before it. But Smith came in, brought him down, and that might have been part of the reason they weren't able to connect on that, but it looked a little overthrown to me.
Gotcha, the student who actually hails from Cameroon. We've got two African-born players here in this game, of course, Ngacha as well as the Southwestern defender. Also on the defensive line, funnily enough. Ikwumisi.
Another run there by the Southwestern offense. That so far the game has been their main strategy. And so far, while they've been able to pick up a couple yards here and there, I don't think it's really been working for them.
They actually called that penalty there on Zachary Scarborough, as that will be the end here of the first quarter. Here on Senior Day, a very big, very important game overall. Both, of course, emotionally for the players and, of course, for their families. We're going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will be right back to get you ready for the second quarter. Welcome back, everybody, to the Trinity Tiger Network here from San Antonio. Jalen Springs at quarterback. He takes a snap. He is going to take off with it himself on the QB draw. slides down with pressure from O'Gunran. Going to be short about 3 yards there of the first down line. Sorry, make that 2 yards short of the first down line.
Jalen Springs really showed there how shifty it is. He was able to maybe pumped it a little bit, and then he was able to run all the way down almost to the first and hit the slide.
Of course, with Senior Day, sent out a little message to all the seniors asking them if they wanted to say anything, and got quite a few responses, which we'll be hoping to share with all of you guys throughout the day. But right now the focus is on the Southwestern offense as Springs is going to try and run with it, and he is going to get thrown down at the line. Trying to see who was there. Who else? Cade Rapson once again. He's been there all season long. He's been there all game long. And he gets to stop on third down to set up a 4th and 2 situation, and looks like to set up a punt.
Another good play there by the Trinity defense. This is a defense that we've seen all year being incredibly strong against the run, specifically, in the Washington and Lee game, and as well as in the Barry game.
Washington and Lee came into the game against Trinity earlier on this season, averaging almost 300 yards rushing. As this punt is a little bit wobbly, as Lamont Nickelberry going to let it take 1 bounce, 2 bounces, and that's going to put Trinity back in a not-so-good position there. It's going to be down at the 6-yard line. So Trinity with some work to do here. Going to be relying a lot on their offense, and going to be relying a little bit on their running backs as well, Ledger Grigsby and Winston Hutchinson, to try and get him out of this hole.
It looks like our graphic is down on the screen, so for those of you who might be just tuning in, currently the Trinity Tigers are up 7-0 against Southwestern.
There we go. As back with 2 running backs on either side of him. Takes a snap. It's a little bit low. It's going to be a handoff. Grigsby. Grigsby powering forward. Still fighting forward and up to about the 14, 15-yard line. That's a pretty good gain to start this one out.
That time there, good run by the Trinity Tigers, able to get up, get through, especially on a Southwestern defense that we've seen today so far, being very lethal against the run.
When we talked with John Hughes, he mentioned that one thing that we should look out for is the communication between the offensive line. They all trust and know where each other is going to be going, as that is a great play there to Alex Taveras for the first down. Taveras was banged up all of last season, didn't get to play any, and this season has only played in 5 games, but man, those 5 games that he's played, and he has had quite the impact as a sophomore.
Yes, he has, So we're going to see there, right there on that replay, Rhinebeck, found that window. Taveras, good hands, able to bring it down.
Coach Urban, nothing but complimentary of Taveras. Mentioned his soft hands, of course, but also the fact that as Rainey is going to take this one in, he's got some good blockers and is up for the first down. Coach Urban mentioned, of course, whenever he was working out with former Trinity quarterback Tucker Horn, Horn mentioned, hey, this guy can start day one as a freshman. And, of course, had an injury before his freshman year, wasn't able to play, was kind of hobbled by it earlier on this year. But I tell you what, in the 5, now this is his 6th game that he's played here as a Trinity Tiger. The sophomore out of San Antonio has been something else to watch. Back, takes a snap. It's going to be a handoff. Hutchinson powering forward, knocks over one of his offensive linemen, and down to about the 40-yard line.
That time there, the Trinity Tiger run was unsuccessful. Maybe got 1 or 2 yards there, but, wasn't quite the 10-yard game they were hoping for.
Something to note, only 2 running backs have rushed so far today for Trinity, that being Hutchinson and Grigsby. Johnny Milo, the 3rd running back in this group, hasn't played yet today and didn't play last week at Hendricks. This is a throw over the middle of the field. Complete to Tyson Hancock. Ball comes loose. Fight for the ball, and it's finally landed on by Hughes. And they're going to say an incomplete pass. So a scramble for the ball as we have a player still down there. That is not what you want to see. The player is number 42, not on the 2 deep here. Number 42, Houston Forrester, the freshman defensive lineman out of Willis, Texas. I think he got landed on there trying to go for the ball. We're going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network as they take care of him, and we will be right back.
Third down and 8.
We are back now from the injury timeout, back in the shotgun, as there's movement on the line. The defense moved first, and there was contact with the offensive line. Believe they're going to call that encroachment, and they are on the defense, so that'll give Trinity 5 extra yards to work with here and set up a 3rd and short situation. Trinity not moving. I believe they're waiting for the ball to get moved.
Another costly mistake there by the, Southwestern defense. So far today, I believe the entire Southwestern team has 3 to 4 penalties.
Mentioned at the top of the broadcast, the Center Rhodes game is going to be a big one to decide who can win the conference championship here, as Trinity needs a center loss and, of course, needs to win out. Trinity so far leading 7-0. Center leading over Rhodes 23-13 at half. Back, throws one over the middle of the field. This one is complete to Tyson Hancock. Hancock still going, cutting across the field, trying to spin and juke around up to the 31-yard line there. Tyson Hancock, the man who had a 75-yard touchdown against Barry, gets another big reception there on 3rd.
Another good look there by Ryan Beck, able to find, as you can see here on the replay, he's looking downfield. He finds his man, perfect window, perfect throw, perfect catch. Little couple jukes there, couple extra yards maybe.
Southwestern's pass defense is definitely one of their big weaknesses. As Milo now in the game, he blocks, back throws, deep left side, incomplete, intended for Alex Tavares there. It looks like a little bit of face guarding there by the safety, Cam Willis Roberson. We're going to see it on the replay.
See in the replay, Beck just kind of hits the defender right back in his head.
And in those situations, it looks like it should be pass interference because Roberson never turned around for it. And that's typically what you call pass interference on. It's going to be play action to Milo. Throw over the middle of the field, complete Will Taylor. Will Taylor still up, and I think the ball came loose again, trying to see who got it. And looks like it will remain Trinity ball.
You're going to see here in the replay, Beck looks down the field, finds his man. There you go. You see the ball come loose. Looks like Trinity fell on it.
They are keeping possession with Trinity. Believe that the offensive lineman there, I think it was Ainsworth, was the one who went in there to get the ball. And so now back in the gun, a couple of fortunate recoveries here for Trinity later. Back in the gun, takes snap. It's going to be a handoff. Grigsby with a big hole. He's on the left side. 5, Touchdown into the end zone. Leaping for 6. Legend Grigsby here on Senior Day. The 5th year with a big run, and Trinity extends their lead to 13.
Another great run there by Trinity. Grigsby was able to find open lane, get a couple moves in and go all the way down for 6.
Legend Grigsby, got to talk with him, and he mentioned that football is a great way to demonstrate his athletic abilities, and he really showed it there. Great speed, great vision. As Huddle booms this one up through the uprights to make this a 14-0 ball game.
You can see in the replay, Grigsby, found space, made a couple cuts, and just ran all the way home.
As soon as Grigsby cut outside, Ryan Back immediately knew what it was. He put both of his hands up before Grigsby had even gotten to the line of scrimmage. And a big play there for Trinity as they extend their lead now out to 14-0. And the last time that these two teams played, Trinity was able to get a 57-7 victory on the road at Southwestern. The first time that those two teams have played since 2016, which Southwestern actually won. The Pirates won both games back in 2016 whenever Trinity and Southwestern were both in the SCAC. Southwestern won the matchup before the last one, 20-7. And so Huddle getting ready to kick this one off here again from the left side of the kickoff spot, as he's going to boom this one away here. Fair catch called for, taken in at the 1-yard line. That is an interesting decision there by the Pirates, and one that... Oh, okay. Instead, they're just going to call it a first down at the 25, so a touchback.
I believe he may have stepped back into the end zone there. We're going to see in the replay.
The new rule in the NCAA is apparently if you fair catch it in that particular spot, it goes out to the 25, which I have personally never come up or never seen coming up into this one. That is a huge hit there, laid down by Steele Herndon.
Another good play there by the Trinity defense, able to get in, showcase how good of a run defense they truly are. As you can see here in this replay, they found them, there weren't enough blockers, and then we'll just push right on in.
I think the reason why we haven't seen that sort of fair catch situation is Huddle almost never kicks it short. And if he does kick it short, he kicks it short enough where it is almost guaranteed to be a return. And Trinity pretty much always either ends up returning it or letting it bounce back into the end zone. So maybe an explanation there as to why that hasn't happened before, as Johnson is going to get absolutely smothered at the line. Cade Rabson in there for the tackle once again. The 5th year putting in work from his spot at the linebacker position. Leads the conference in tackles and continuing to do so here with a big performance.
So far today, it's just been all seniors and 5th years really putting in the work.
Rapson already today with 7 total tackles, as we are only about 7 or 8 minutes down in this second quarter. Springs in the gun with the running back over to his left-hand side, moving over. He's going to try and throw it. It's a pass over the middle of the field, complete over to Garcia, and getting close to midfield. Not going to quite get there. Brought down at the 48-yard line, but a big play there to give Southwestern some momentum.
As you can see in the replay, good play there by Jalen Springs, able to find his man down the field, get enough time, and, really make a very good throw.
Springs going to be back in the gun once again. 3 receivers now to his left-hand side, 1 to the right. He throws it over to the left-hand side, tipped off the fingertips and incomplete. The intended target there, Sam Johnson, who Johnson had been hurt earlier on in the season, hurt in the season opener, ended up hurting his foot, I believe, and just recently was able to get back into playing. And so maybe still a little bit of, or even though it is late in the season, maybe some quote-unquote early season jitters for the sophomore out of Flower Mound. Springs in the gun, takes the snap. It's going to be play action. It's going to be a screen pass over to Johnson, and Johnson gets tied up there at about the midfield marker. They're going to mark him down at the 49.
You can see in that replay, Springs looking for his man, little short dump-off pass. Found him, we're able to pick up a couple more yards and keep the drive going.
Southwestern getting set up here. 15 seconds left on the play clock. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right. And the back now moving over to Springs' right side. It's going to be play action. Springs drops back. He throws again, incomplete off the hands of Johnson. Just a bit too high there. There on the defensive coverage was Evan Kuhl, the freshman out of Boerne, Texas. And you see there the team celebrating with him as they managed to get the third down stop and force the punt. Whenever we talk with James O'Gunner, he mentioned to watch out for how this defense really brings the energy with each other, celebrating big plays, hyping each other up, hyping the entire team up really whenever big momentum-shifting moments happen. And all this energy, all this celebration is something that O'Gunner talked about, is something that Johnny Nwobodo talked about as well, is something that this team really brings well as this punt is blocked. The punt gets blocked, still rolling around, and it's picked up by Trinity, trying to keep on going, and finally down at the 36-yard line. But a big punt block there by the Tigers, their first of the season, and it gives them field position at the 35-yard line.
You're going to see in the replay, they come rushing up. There's no blockers. They got in there. A little bit of a scramble there to get the ball, but they got there in the end.
I believe it was either Ventura or B.J. Rainey, the wide receiver, who was there on that breakthrough. A big momentum-changing play there as Trinity now leads the turnover battle by 2. And hoping to score points off of the turnover as well on this drive. Back, takes the snap, handoff going over to Huerta. Huerta's run, that's Hutchison, run for a gain of about 2.
Another good opening run there by the Trinity Tigers, able to, kind of ride the nerves there a little bit, right? Get it going after the big turnover, find their position, and set up for another big play.
2 receivers to the right, 2 to the left. Malloy and Taylor to the left-hand side. Nickelberry and Tavares. Nickelberry going into motion now over on the right. Back, throw over to Lamont Nickelberry as he gets swallowed up behind the line there. Great defensive play there by Dylan Jackson, the freshman cornerback out of Houston, who's played in 7 games so far. He's going to get his first TFL of the season. And set up 3rd down and 11.
You can see here on the replay, back look for his man. He was able to just slip through and barely trip him up.
And so now back going to be in the gun as usual. 3 to the right, 2 to the left. Milo in at the running back position. Back, 5-step drop. He looks, pressure coming from the left-hand side. He throws over to Johnny Milo. Milo trying to dance around, but unable to get there in time. It's going to be a loss of 2 and force a Trinity punt off of what was pretty good field position to start. The drive just unfortunately ended up going nowhere, and will set up a punt here on 4th down.
As you can see here in the replay, there's a lot of pressure in Ryanbeck's face. He didn't have many options. He found his man. Unfortunately, there wasn't enough blockers to get that first down that they needed.
It was the freshman Caleb Harmon out of Hockley, Texas, the big name who we've highlighted throughout the game, who ended up getting that pressure here as Huddle kicks a high punt and fair caught at about the 17, 18-yard line. And so Southwestern going to set up with a little bit, or no, sorry, not 17 or 18. That's going to be 13 or at the 13-yard line. And Southwestern with a little bit of suboptimal field position to start this drive. And we'll see what they are able to do here with 4 minutes and 2 seconds left to go here in the first half. Springs takes a snap. He's going to run with it, and a pitch out just in the nick of time over to Johnson, but barely going to get back up to the line there. That was a good wrap-up there by Cade Rapson to break through the line.
Interesting trick play there by the Southwestern offense. You know, Jalen Springs almost got tackled for a big loss, pitched it out, you know, got closer to the line and, you know, picked up 1 yard.
Big heads-up play there by the sophomore as well. That's something that, you know that pressure is going to be coming. You feel the pressure, you take the hit, and then you dump it off, trying to bait the defense and thinking that the play might be over. And so a pretty big play there to keep the drive alive and set up 2nd down and 9. Springs, he's going to throw it over the middle of the field. Incomplete. Ventura was there in coverage on Johnson, but pressure was coming in the face there. I believe that was Steele Herndon, the one who managed to force pressure there on Springs.
Another big play there by the Trinity defense, able to get in, break any blockers they had, you know, break up the pass that could have been for the big first down, and make sure the Southwestern doesn't really start their drive.
Of course, this being senior day, everybody's so thankful for friends and family and coaches who have allowed them to get to this point. As Springs, he spins around, still up on his feet. He's going to throw it, and it's going to be intercepted, taken away by Anthony Njoku once again. He got the game-sealing interception against Barry, and he gets another one here today. His 2nd of the season. The transfer from Davidson College putting in work this year.
So you're going to see here in the replay, you know, Springs was able to barely escape a big tackle, make a throw. Unfortunately, he was double covered, and he just wasn't able to hit his man.
That looked exactly like the Barry play. The throw, the leaping catch by Anthony Njoku. And now with Trinity set up at the 25-yard line, no excuses here. They need to score on this drive. Back takes snap. It's going to be a handoff. Hutchison running up to the 20-yard line and up to the 19 before getting uplifted. And whenever we got to talk with Winston Hutchison earlier on this week, he mentioned that, of course, football is a way to spend time with his newfound brothers on the field, but also a way to kind of help him through difficult circumstances as well. And he just wanted to say thank you to everybody for all of the support over the last 4.5 years. Back takes a snap, pump fakes once, he throws deep left side, and caught for the touchdown. B.J. Rainey dancing into the end zone there. A beautiful throw by Ryan Back, and Trinity extends their lead now by 20.
Big play there by Ryan Beck, able to, you know, find his man, find that pocket. That was a beautiful throw. You just saw it arcing over 2 defenders. He was able to connect on that.
B.J. Rainey, who has his favorite football memories from the Barry game both last year and this year. He's been a big receiving threat for Trinity so far, as this kick by Huddle is up and good for the PAT. As we're going to be pulling up a replay here pretty shortly.
As you're going to see in the replay, Ryan Beck looking downfield, kind of, you know, waited around for a second. Beautiful arc, found his man, found the window, touchdown.
Rainey got the game-sealing, or the ultimately game-defining blocked PAT against Barry a couple of weeks ago, but also last year. Despite having a broken wrist, he ended up getting a game-sealing catch for a first down to ice that game out. And whenever we got to talk to him, his message for the fans were pretty simple. He said, I just want to thank the Trinity community, the fans, coaches, teammates for all the support and giving an opportunity to grow both on and off of the field. And also gave a message to everybody else as well. It's okay to not fit in with anybody else. Just make sure to run your own race, stay true to who you are, and you don't have to fit in life as long as you're having fun. So some very inspirational words there from the senior, who has had quite an impact over the course of this year, as now he ties Will Taylor for the most receiving touchdowns this season.
Fair catch is called.
It's always great to be able to talk with these seniors here.
Yes, it is. Another senior I'd like to showcase is my co-announcer, Caleb Reed. Ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be his final home football broadcast. This is a man who's been running the show this season so far, and I believe you commented all 5 games last year as well.
We had 6 home games here last year. I did commentate 5. I had to miss the Rhodes game because I believe it was the Monday before that game I tested positive for COVID, as that is a big overthrow there intended for Garcia. I tested positive for COVID. I was able to return. I was cleared to be out in public again on Friday, but still had a cough, still had pretty sore throat. So Cole Isaacson, who's currently in Australia at the moment. Everybody on Tiger Network, you will get to hear his lovely voice serenading you again whenever baseball starts up in the spring. But Cole and Luke Terry, who we got to interview last week during halftime for Alumni Weekend, they took over that game for me. But yeah, all but won the Rhodes game last year. As Springs is going to throw this one. Flag is down. A good throw there over on the right-hand side, but the Johnson reception does have 2 flags down. One of the flags came well after the play was over, but one of them is back in the pocket. I saw the hand signal for holding. Not sure what the late flag was, though.
Nonetheless, great throw there by Jalen Springs. Able to find his man down the field and get a big first if the penalty is not on the Southwestern.
And so it is going to be a holding penalty. They're going to mark it as half the distance to the goal because it is within the 20-yard line. And so that'll push them back from a big 1st and 10 reception, now back over to, oh goodness, that's going to be about at the 5-yard line, it looks like. Sorry, they're going to push it back to the 12. 12 or 13 looks to be about where they're going to mark this one down. Oh, they called offensive pass interference there, so that's why it was the much bigger penalty than just 10 yards. And so that'll set up 1st down and 23, as we got to look at the Tiger cheerleaders as well. We've got more whistles here as we're having a stoppage before the play. And it looks like it is for the 2-minute warning. And so, of course, want to highlight some of the other players here on this Trinity team who, might not be getting some of the recognition that they, should be receiving due to their positions on the depth chart. Of course, considering the score of this game, hoping that we might be getting some depth guys coming in throughout the second half. But just in case, it's always good to highlight them, especially whenever we have some downtime. And one of them, Jarrett Phillips, actually, something that I didn't know about him. Not only is his cousin a crew chief in the NASCAR Truck Series for Kyle Busch Motorsports, but also his father used to be the strength and conditioning coach for the Cleveland Browns. And so whenever we asked him what football means, obviously he has a very personal connection with him. more than just a game. Obviously, he actually grew up watching football, obviously in person. He took his first steps in the Browns weight room, and he just has tons of great memories that he wanted to share with us here for this particular game.
Well, it looks like football runs in his blood.
Definitely. As this is going to be, almost a wrap up there, as the running back pushing forward there, Phillips, on the rush, gets it up to about the 18-yard line, as we now have a timeout being called by the Trinity Tigers.
He's going to see in the replay, he was able to break one tackle. Unfortunately, was not able to break the tackle on the second attempt.
And something interesting as well, with me being a big fan of racing as well, this is one of the little niche hyper fixations that I have. The NFL player to NASCAR pit crew member is actually, the pipeline is not as large as you might think. NASCAR teams love to try and get former college players, former NFL players in for tire carriers, jackmen, fuelers, because you need to be fast, agile, as well as obviously very strong, being able to, jack up the car, change the tires, carry the tires. And it's something that not a lot of people think of, especially since NASCAR is more of the sport of, hey, just turn left. But there is a pretty large football to motorsports pipeline that kind of goes unnoticed sometimes as well. So on second down and 15, Springs, he's going to take it. He's going to pitch it out there to Phillips, and Phillips is going to get pushed out of bounds at about the 25-yard line. So now Southwestern back up to where this drive started. The tackle there by James O'Gunran, who so far this season, coming into this game, 42 total tackles. He has, at the moment, the lead in total tackles with 8.
Another big stop there by Trinity defense, as we've noted on several times today. This defensive unit, all season has just been incredibly strong. Throughout all 8 games we've seen, they've just been shutting everything down and really giving the offense a chance to shine and a chance to win big games like we saw 2 weeks ago with Barry.
And so this Trinity defense getting ready to come back out once again. The defense has been absolutely astounding so far this season. They actually allowed negative rushing yards against Hendricks during their game last week. And it was just an all-around defensive nightmare for the for Hendricks, who, again, -8 rushing yards all day long. And whenever you're going up against a team with a defense who can do that, it's normally going to be a pretty tough day. Southwestern getting ready to punt this one away. It's a clean punt this time, unlike the previous one. Nickelberry takes this one in. Had Will Taylor there helping him on the block, and he gets up to about the 40-yard line before being dragged down.
Taylor was a little slow to get up there and seems to be limping off the field.
It is first down on the 40.
Nickelberry as well looks kind of hobbled, which is not something that you want to see. Nickelberry has been dealing with some injuries all throughout the season. The leading kick returner for the team this season has plenty of shiftiness. And we are going to get a stoppage here for Nickelberry as he comes off. Trinity called a timeout, or sorry, an official's timeout. And now we are getting ready to get back onto the field. So back going to be in the gun here. Hutchison over to his right-hand side. The receiver in motion is Hancock. Back, three-step drop. He looks, pressure coming from the right-hand side. He throws complete to Hutchison. Hutchison able to get across the first down and then some up to about the 50-yard line. And actually past the 50-yard line up to the 40, I'm going to call that about the 46.
Another good throw there by Ryan Beck, able to, find his man, connect with him, and get that big first down.
First down on the 46.
Whenever we talked with John Hughes, the left tackle, he mentioned that one of the big important things is going to be keeping Ryan Back clean in the pocket. So far, Back hasn't taken any sacks. As Back, he throws it over the right-hand side, complete over to Grigsby. Grigsby gets hit pretty hard there. A good play there by Darrell James, the senior cornerback out of Houston, who is tied for the lead on the team with 2 interceptions on the season. As the clock continues to roll down here, ticking closer to 1 minute to go here in this first half. Back takes a snap. 4-step drop, looks, fires right middle, and off the hands of Tavares, intercepted. It's going to be taken away here by J.P. Reyes, and Reyes brought down at the 35-yard line there. And an unfortunate interception for the Trinity Tigers there as we got the replay pulled up.
You can see in the replay, Back found his man, maybe a little bit of high of a throw. Tavares was not able to come down with it, and just an unfortunate interception there to end off.
That is going to be the first interception in just a little bit. Didn't have one against Hendricks. Did have one against Barry. But only 2 interceptions in the last 4 games in between the center game and the Barry game. And so here we go. Springs back here under quarterback. He takes a 3-step drop. He throws quick to the left-hand side, incomplete. Intended there for the running back, Phillips.
Good look there by Jalen Springs, able to, find his man downfield. Unfortunately, he just wasn't able to come down with it.
The turnover differential for Southwestern has been completely even on the season. So far here today, they are at a -2. Managed to get 1 back after that interception, but Trinity so far today with 3 turnovers on the defensive side. It's going to be a handoff. Phillips. Phillips running up and up to about the 40. It's going to be about the 43-yard line there as we've got a couple of players slow to get up on the Southwestern side. Looks to be their right guard, Josh Taylor, and trying to see who the Trinity player is. I think that might be Azrael and Gotcha. Or no, sorry, that's James O'Gunrin, the 5th-year linebacker who we talked to earlier on this week.
So you're going to see in the replay, he comes down the field, and there we go. That's probably where O'Gunrin got wrapped up. He got hit, I believe, by his own teammate.
O'Gunrin mentioned that he is kind of playing this game not at 100%. He has been banged up a little bit throughout the season over the last couple of games, and also on the sideline, another player, Steele Herndon, is limping, heading back towards the table.
Those are 2 big players there on the Trinity side, Gunnerin and Herndon, who so far today have been, very solid.
Herndon has kind of come out of nowhere in particular. The sophomore out of the Woodlands has been a huge threat at defensive end, defensive tackle. 4.5 tackles were lost, 3.5 sacks so far on the season. Whistles and a flag. Looks like this is going to be a false start on the Pirates. And that'll push them back 5 yards. And on 3rd and 1, once again, they can't stop shooting themselves in the foot.
I believe that's the 5th penalty of the day so far by the Southwestern Pirates.
This is going to be the 5th penalty. 37 total yards after this penalty is given out. Compare that to Trinity's 1 penalty. It was a 15-yard penalty for a personal foul of roughing the passer, but even still, Trinity has done a good job of avoiding penalties, which is something that they kind of struggled with earlier on this season. So far, season-long averages, they are third in the conference in terms of fewest penalties per game at 5.8. Penalty yardage is a bit worse, though, 59, almost 60 penalty yards per game. That'll put them below 153rd in the country in that particular stat, and it's something that was really present during the TLU game. They just kept on shooting themselves in the foot with penalties, personal fouls, as the team was trying to find themselves. But since really the bye week, they've really kind of cleaned things up, not just offensively, but also in terms of those small mental mistakes. Springs takes a snap. It's going to be a handoff, and that handoff is actually going to spin free. Still going, breaking across midfield, still up on his feet. Phillips able to get all the way up to the 37-yard line there, and a big gain for the Pirates.
So you can see in the replay, he's able to break a couple tackles there, cut around a little bit, get a big gain there.
Finally wrapped up and brought down by, I want to say that was Cade Rabson. And now a timeout being called on the field, with 20 seconds left to go in this game.
It's going to be interesting to see here whether, they decide to throw the ball to Jalen Springs, considering there's only 20 seconds on the clock, or they just run it down and walk into the locker room.
O'Gunran coming back out into the defensive huddle here. Noticing on the sideline as well, Lucas Marine, number 14, his jersey and pads are off at the moment, so not entirely sure what's going on there. Maybe just getting ready for halftime. We'll have to see. Marine had 2 interceptions against Barry. 2 of 3 during that game. Springs takes a snap. He gets pressured. The throw over to the left-hand side, intercepted, taken away. Delvin Gant coming up with it and still moving forward. He is across the 35-yard line before a big hit, and now a flag from further back in the play. Not sure what's going on there, but a good interception by Delvin Gant gives Trinity the ball with 7 seconds left to go.
You're going to see in the replay, Jalen Springs looking for that big throw touchdown. Unfortunately, he's not able to find it. A little bit overthrown, double coverage. Delvin Gant was able to get in there, pick it off, and bring it back.
Oh, a huge hit there laid down by the offensive lineman, Cooper Pickett. That looked like it could have maybe been targeting there. It definitely looked helmet to helmet to me.
Yes, it did.
They're going to call a block in the back on Southwestern. On the Tigers. And so that'll put the ball now at the 25-yard line. With 7 seconds to go. They just go ahead and kneel it down. And that will be the end of the first half here from Trinity University. The Tigers leading 21-0 over the Southwestern University Pirates here. An update from around the conference. Center currently leads with the ball in their hands, 36-20 over the Rhodes Lynx. We'll make sure to update you guys as that game goes final. And Andrew, a big first half for the Tigers. What have you seen out of them so far?
Well, so far I've seen Trinity football. That's one thing that's been highlighted to us times and time again, and that, to the players and to us sort of means just playing together, being a complete team, and playing for brothers, and especially on senior day, seeing that's incredibly encouraging.
And so as we get a look at the highlights there, what a beautiful throw there by Ryan back over to B.J. Rainey. That is just one more symbol of how much more confidence he's gotten over this last couple of weeks stretch. And so, as we get a halftime performance by the Trinity Tiger cheerleaders, we are going to take a little halftime break and be back with just a few minutes left to go before the second half. So, go ahead and grab some food, grab some drink, make sure to enjoy the show, and we will be right back on the Trinity Tiger Network.
Every morning, we rise, ready to meet our human potential, to take that next incremental step, to do the hard work that changes. Set in our preparedness and confidence in that moment when you know, I've got this. And then we rise. Each of us, all of us. We rise as passions coalesce in research, art, athletics, and beyond. We rise to the challenge of inquiry and discovery through undergraduate research and hands-on learning. We rise through the personal attention of a small college, fueled by large university resources. We rise to the need for listening across differences, teaching the art and the act of conversation. We rise to the sounds of a vibrant, diverse, and culturally rich city, and we reflect it. At Trinity University, we recognize that you are here because you are ready to rise. And through a love of learning and a life of learning, we will challenge you to always reach beyond the horizon. Because your future awaits.
Ladies and gentlemen, the Towers. And ladies and gentlemen, we wish to welcome all of you good folks attending Trinity in Focus. You all enjoy the rest of your stay. Let's hear it for all people attending Trinity in Focus. And ladies and gentlemen, on Monday is Veterans Day, as you know. We invite all active duty and veterans to stand and wave. Come on, stand up and wave, all veterans. Members of the military, thank you for your service to our country. Thank you very much. We're proud of you. Now, ladies and gentlemen, the stand band.
Welcome back, everybody, to Trinity University here in San Antonio. We got about 3 minutes left before the conclusion of halftime, with the Trinity Tigers leading 21-0. They will be kicking the ball away here to Southwestern to start this second half. And Andrew, what are we expecting here out of the Trinity Tigers as we head into the final half of the final home game of the regular season?
Well, so far in this first half of the game, they've been incredibly strong in playing Trinity football, which is a complete effort on all sides. I expect we're going to keep seeing that, going into the second half and keep charging on.
Southwestern, of course, comes into this game at a 4-4 record, 3-7 last season, so they've already made some pretty big improvements. And just wanted to give a big congratulations to head coach Bill Kriesel, who was announced as the interim head coach of the team heading into the season after the retirement of former head coach Joe Austin in July. But the interim head coach has now been announced as the permanent head coach, as Coach Kriesel was announced on Wednesday as going to be announced as the leader of this team moving forward. And of course, he mentioned that it is an absolute privilege to be a new head coach for the Southwestern squad, and got to talk with him on Thursday morning. And Pirates, you guys are definitely getting a fantastic head coach to be leading this program for the upcoming years for certain. But getting ready here for this second half of play. Again, Trinity leading 21-0, and it's really been domination on the offense side of the ball, particularly through the air. Trinity leading the passing numbers right now, 146-37, but Southwestern currently leading on the ground.
One thing I'd also like to note is Southwestern currently has possession. They've had 3 more minutes than the Trinity Tigers had, and Trinity's still up 21 currently.
That is a big point to make note of there. Southwestern actually is one of the best teams in terms of keeping time of possession in their hands. They are first in the conference in that category, 15th in the nation in that particular category as well. They average holding onto the ball for 33 of the 60 minutes of play for the most part. It's actually their second best statistic, as their best statistic, a conference lead, and also number 12 in the nation in that particular category, is red zone defense. Once teams get into the red zone, Southwestern really kind of buckles down, and Trinity, even though they're leading 21-0, hasn't gotten into the red zone yet. So could be a reason why Trinity has that lead despite the good defense of this Southwestern squad.
It's going to be interesting to see as well, whether they keep running it with Jalen Springs, Libra Rodriguez, and other, key running backs on their team, or they start to air it out a little bit more.
That is something that was talked about whenever we got to speak with Johnny Nwobodo and James O'Gunran, the two players on the Trinity defensive side who we got to meet with during this week. They both mentioned, hey, this is a team that is very dangerous with play action, very dangerous with option runs, and could provide some kind of headaches on the defensive side if we aren't particularly careful. And so it is something that we'll have to be looking out for during the second half, something that head coach Jeremy Urban also mentioned during our meeting with him on Thursday. So Huddle getting ready to kick this one away here. The senior out of McKinney, Texas, who transferred in last year was his first full season here at Trinity. Transferred in from St. Olaf. And this is going to be a squib kick up the middle. It's rolling, and it just barely gets into the end zone there. Was tracking towards the sideline, but it rolls through for the touchback, and we'll set this drive up at the 25-yard line. Huddle mentioned that they were going to be trying some maybe a little bit more trickery here, but kicking has been something that he's been doing for quite a long time, actually. Whenever he and his dad were throwing the ball around, he ended up accidentally punting it. His dad suggested that he, do kicking full time, and it's just been something that he's taken over ever since. This is going to be a run up the middle for the first play of the second half for Southwestern. Gain of about 3 there on the play.
Southwestern still seems to be, running that ball down the field, trying to keep going with, one of the very strong running back in Leroy Rodriguez, number 11. So far in the season, he has 140 carries for 693 yards.
Rodriguez, a very strong downhill runner, and someone who we made a note of during the production meeting with Coach Urban. Mentioned, of course, that this is a very strong offense running the ball, as that's going to be Phillips who gets stuffed there behind the line. And one thing that Coach Urban mentioned is that this is back-to-back weeks where Trinity is facing a very strong rushing attack. Of course, or back-to-back weeks at home. Of course, Barry, Brandon Cade, can't say enough good things about him. Against Trinity, he ran for, I believe it was 230 yards and 3 touchdowns, as well as a receiving touchdown as well. And just an all-around perfect game from him. Unfortunate to have that kind of performance end up in a loss, but even still, he mentioned, Rodriguez is good. He isn't any Brandon Cade, as that one is broken up. They're going to call pass interference, though, on the play. Trinity fans not happy about it there. It was Evan Kuhl in the defense. And it is going to be pass interference there on the Trinity defense. There was a play earlier on in the game where I believe it was Tavares got face guarded there, and it ended up going uncalled. So kind of a bit interesting to see that particular play gets flagged. I'll have to see the replay potentially after this play. As Springs back in the gun. 2 to the left, 2 to the right. It's going to be a handoff. Phillips. Phillips not going to go anywhere there. Cade Rabson, who just recently ended up going over the solo and total tackle that number that he needed to hit 50 and 150 on his career, there for the stop.
Really good play there by the Trinity defense, who, as we've noted several times today and throughout the season, has been an incredibly strong unit.
This Trinity team, one of the best in the country. They've been locked down all season long. 57th in the country in terms of total yards allowed. Phillips trying to run it on the left-hand side, gets wrapped up. Actually, he broke the earlier tackle. Trinity's saying that they have the ball. Trinity comes up with it, and they're going to say that he was down before the ball came loose. Got the replay of it here.
So we're going to see in the replay, we weren't able to see the ball come loose, but we saw several Trinity players there dive for it. We weren't able to get a clean enough angle to see who actually came up with it.
I believe it might have been knocked loose by the ground, which is why the officials said that the runner was down. And which is why we're now set up for 3rd down and 8. Springs back in the gun, running back right behind him, 2 to the left, 2 to the right. Movement on the line, that's going to push him back 5, and that's going to make this 3rd down just a little bit more difficult.
I believe that's the 6th penalty today on the Southwestern team. That's been a killer so far. There have been several 3rd downs. It's been like 3rd and 1, and they'll get a penalty, and they move back 5, and the Trinity Tigers will come up with a big stop on those plays.
There were 2 3rd and 1 plays in particular that I remember from that first half that were pushed back for 5. They ended up getting a 1st down on both of them after getting big runs, but even still, it is unfortunate to have drives get kind of soured by penalty yardage there. As here we go, getting ready for 3rd down and 13. Springs back in the gun. He fakes the play action. He's going to throw, and it's batted down at the line, incomplete. Springs, who came into this game with 1,100 passing yards, 5 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. He's definitely a big rushing threat with 8 touchdowns and his 210 rushing yards, but this is a team that really relies on the ground game a lot more. And whenever you get backed up into those situations, it really makes the team one-dimensional. Your update from center, the Colonels leading 49-20 over the Rhodes Lynx, so Trinity will not be able to be totally safe in their playoff potential this week, as this is a high long snap. It is a clean punt nonetheless, taken in there by Will Taylor, who's immediately smothered by the punt defense team, and that'll put the ball down at the 19.
Very good play there by the Southwestern special teams, able to get in there, bring them down hard. You know, I mean, they had a long way to run, and they'll just like bring them down for no gain.
And so Ryan back coming out once again here for this for this drive. Trinity keeping all of their starters in here. And the man to the right of back is the running back who gets the ball. It's going to be Hutchison up across the 25, up to the 26-yard line before getting brought down there on the gain of about 2.
Another good run there by the Trinity offense, able to get all the way up. You know, couple yards, start the drive off well.
Alex Teal came off on that previous play. 2 receivers to the left, 2 to the right for back and the offense. Takes the snap, fakes play action. He's going to throw it over to the left-hand side to Tavares. Good for a first down.
Another good throw there by Ryan Beck, you know, who so far today has been super solid, making some, you know, very big throws, as we saw on, you know, the touchdowns and a couple key plays there. He's been able to find windows just like that one there on that replay to pick up first downs.
Whenever we talked with left tackle John Hughes, Alex Teal, who just came off, actually got featured in that meeting as well as Grigsby going into motion. It's going to be a handoff Hutchison, and it's going to be about 3 yards in a cloud of dust on that run. But Hughes mentioned Alex Teal. Whenever they were both freshmen, before every game, the offensive coordinator, Coach Lytle, likes to host the team for a dinner. And just before their very first game as a freshman, Teal used to be a center, undersized at about 6'1", 200 pounds, and mentioned that Teal looked over at Hughes and said, man, I don't think that I know any of the plays, as it's a little bit of trickery here. A throw over to Grigsby. It's caught at the 40-yard line and still running. Grigsby fighting forward up to the 15-yard line there. Trinity breaking out the magic hat and getting a big gain there to set up in the red zone.
So you can see in the replay, you know, couple, you know, big passes, big throw there. You know, the Southwestern, I don't believe, was expecting that. I mean, us here up in the box weren't even expecting that. So great play there by Ryan Beck.
And right on the money as well. Trinity kind of breaking out some of the more special plays here for the fans on Senior Day. As now back going to be in the gun. He takes a snap. It's going to be a handoff Huerta. And still fighting forward here. The pile moving very well up to the 5-yard line.
on the carry.
But so just continuing the story, Alex Teal, who you see number 0 there, right next to Morkovsky, number 28, moving over to the right-hand side of the line now. Hughes was saying that Coach Lytle kind of looked at both of them in shock and was thinking, man, how did I let these two guys go ahead and start? But first game of the season, ended up getting the win, didn't really have too many issues. As Hutchison running up the middle, and Hutchison in for the touchdown. Trinity extending their lead here 27-0 over the Pirates with the PAT pending.
Another good run there by the Trinity Tigers, able to punch it in for 6. You know, good blocking all around, you know, and Winston Hutchison, one of the best, you know, running backs so far in the team this year, able to get another touchdown.
Hutchison, he gets his third rushing touchdown of the season. His first of the game. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up and kick is good. Huddle mentioned that he has a great chemistry with this kicking unit. Long snapper John Adrian Dioli as well as holder Raider Horn said that he could be blindfolded and still know that that ball is going to be there right on time, right in the right spot, and he knows where he needs to be.
As we just got that replay on that touchdown, we saw good blocking, maybe one or two cuts, and, just punched it in. Something else I'd like to bring heads up to is number 44, Liam Faline on the Southwestern defense. He's been wearing a Guardian cap all game. Guardian caps, were introduced into, I believe, practices in 2023, and so far have been allowed in the NFL this season.
Very interesting to see. Of course, I know there are a few linemen who have opted to use that in the NFL option. Haven't actually seen it too much in college football, especially at this level. But, safety being continually one of the big talking points in football, it is always good to see players kind of taking that extra step in order to ensure their safety on the field and in practices. As huddle cases went away, it's going to be just a little bit short, taken in by Phillips, and still running. He's got a good hole, and he gets up to about the 23-24 yard line before finally going down. Still needs 2 to move up to 20 and move up to 9th all-time on the list. James O'Gunran, the linebacker, moved up to 14th all-time in terms of total tackles with 250 earlier on in the first half. It's going to be a direct snap here, and that's going to go absolutely nowhere there. A big stop there on that, or no, actually it isn't going to be a direct snap. Southwestern has brought in their backup quarterback, freshman Jackson Sims, the 5'10", 160-pound product out of Kingwood, Texas. So not seeing Springs in at the moment.
Second down and 12.
Not noticing anybody on the training tables either for Southwestern, so this might be a rest of the game decision here to bring in Sims. So Sims, a freshman, takes a snap. He's going to try and run with it. He's going to get pressured and brought down hard. Able to get a couple of yards past the line, but right back to where the drive started. Brought down at the 20. They're going to mark that down as at the 26.
Interesting play calling there by the Southwestern offense. Continuing to run the ball. Despite the fact that they haven't had much success. They have picked up a couple first downs and had some big drives, but so far today, the run hasn't been as effective as they would have hoped.
3-man front for Trinity, four linebackers in. Sims throws over the middle of the field, incomplete. Intended there for his target. It's going to be number 12 there on the Southwestern offense, Luke Martin, the sophomore out of Frisco, unable to haul that one in.
So you're going to see in the replay, found his man, unfortunately, just wasn't able to come down with it.
Couple of players moving around here, noticing a few new numbers and names to be watching out for. As it's going to be Will Taylor lining up to return this punt. This punt is blocked by Cade Rapson. It's taken in by the Southwestern Pirates. He could go for a first down here. He gets close to the line to gain. I'm not sure. And they are going to give the first down. So a disaster there turns into fortune as the block by Rapson ends up resulting in a first down.
So we're going to see in the replay, the Trinity Tigers just weren't able to locate the ball in the sky. And unfortunately for the Tigers, Southwestern were able to pick up that ball and run all the way down for that first down.
Rabson last season had 3 kick blocks, including 2 of them in a single game against Hendricks. Of course, during that game, he had, I believe it was a blocked kick, a blocked punt, but he also had 2 roughing the kicker penalties as well in that same game. So a little bit of mixed fortune for Rabson last year. But Sims now takes a snap. He's going to try and run with it over on the left-hand side of the middle of the field. Slides down just short of the first down line, gain of 8.
Interesting to still see the Southwestern offense, still running that ball. As I've, kind of noted on several times today, the Trinity defense have been incredibly strong against the run so far today.
Both of these teams are going to struggle with the injury bug, which is why you're seeing a lot of new faces in. As Sims trying to pass it, he's going to get pressured by Barry, still up on his feet. Thinks about throwing, now throws it over to Phillips. Phillips trying to get there, and he's barely going to get back to the line. A great wrap-up there by Anthony Njoku to bring down Devin Phillips, the running back out of Rockport.
So you can see on the replay, it was a full team effort to try to get Sims down. Unfortunately, we're not able to do it. And Southwestern is able to somehow, pick up a couple yards and get closer to that first down.
Sims in the backfield, in the shotgun. He takes a snap. It's looking like it's going to be a pitch out. No, instead it's going to be a quarterback run. Good for the first down, but not much more than that. As he gets wrapped up, and there's a flag down. And it's going to be offensive holding, so that's going to push him back 10.
I believe that's the 7th penalty of the game against Southwestern. It's a big difference. We're used to Trinity, having 5 or 6 penalties by the end of the game, and so far today, I believe they're only at 2.
Trinity so far today with 3 penalties for 40 yards. It's actually a fairly even number in terms of penalty yardage, not in terms of penalties. Southwestern has doubled the penalties at 6, now make it 7 for 42 yards. Or sorry, 52 yards now. Sims back in the gun. Phillips over to his right-hand side. He takes a snap. It's going to be a delayed handoff to Phillips, and that's going to go nowhere fast. A loss of 2 on the play. One of the players involved there on the play is Charles Gilbert, a 5th-year linebacker, who got to talk to as well. His favorite football memory was the 17-16 victory in overtime here against Wheaton. That was a battle between 2 top 10 teams back in 2022. And he mentioned that giving up football is going to be really hard because it's been sort of a therapy for him to focus not just physically but also mentally. And whenever we asked him if he had any sort of special message, as this punt is going to be away, pressure there by Ventura. Taylor going to let it bounce back and roll, and finally rolls out of bounds at the 15-yard line. The message there by Charles Gilbert, of course, stay true and God will put you where you need to be. It's going to be hard undoubtedly, but if you stay the course and know in your heart of hearts what you're doing is the right thing, things are going to fall into place just as they should. And it's always good to have uplifting messages like that, especially in such a rough time everywhere else. It's always good to have some voices of positivity going out from the athletes. Back takes the snap. It's going to be a handoff there to, I believe that's Huerta. Huerta still fighting forward. He's still on his feet. He's running over to the right-hand side. And a very intense run of about 6 yards there. Trinity wants a flag after Huerta was knocked down after getting pushed out. But I don't think that's really anything malicious. Just ended up tripping over the chain and the lip between the track and the football field.
Nonetheless, as you're going to see in this replay, great cuts, great blocking, able to somehow build a couple extra yards off, something that seemed to be down.
And so 2nd down and 3 now. Huerta, of course, came over from linebacker this last year. Receiver going into motion is B.J. Rainey. Back, takes a 2-step drop. Now fires in the middle of the field. Complete Tyson Hancock. And Hancock is across the line for the 1st down. Whenever we talked with Coach Urban, of course, mentioned Tyson Hancock. He's actually a transfer this year. Transferred from Drake University. And he was really behind the 8 ball and everything. Didn't know the playbook, didn't know any of the players. Even all the freshmen knew each other from, of course, all the academic bridge programs that Trinity does and everything like that. So we had to get used to a whole new academic system, whole new football system, whole new locker room. And I tell you what, despite all those challenges, Hancock has been really great. As now Johnny Milo runs this one very close to the 1st down line. Don't think he's going to be able to get there, but still close nonetheless.
Another good run there by the Trinity offense. You're going to see in this replay, able to get good blocking, make a couple cuts here and there, and get close to that 1st down.
First time we called Milo's name so far here today. Milo needs 37 more rushing yards to hit 500 on his career. Back takes a snap. He looks. He fires deep right side to Will Taylor. Incomplete. Just a bit too far over the mark there. Taylor had to be looking into the sun there in order to make that catch. And that come out with just a little bit of an overthrow there. Resulted in the incompletion.
Nonetheless, Ryan Beck still on the day has been incredibly solid. He's made some big throws and some big plays so far today.
So Trinity leading 28-0 here over the Southwestern University Pirates. A battle between 2 Texas teams as Georgetown just about 2 hours up I-35. Back takes a snap. He looks pressure coming from behind, and he's going to go down. A big sack there by the Southwestern defense, Jameer Martin, the sophomore out of Cleveland, Texas. He had 5 tackles last week. Doesn't have any sacks. That's going to be his first of the year, and you saw just right around the edge there.
Unfortunate there for the Trinity O-line, who, as we got the ability to talk to John Hughes this week, really wanted to keep Ryan Beck clean.
He also mentioned that he's able to handle the bigger guys kind of well. The big, 250, 6'4" guys a lot better than he's able to handle maybe some of the 6-0, 100-pound guys, as that's B.J. Rainey. Flag is down. Rainey up to the 35-yard line, but this one might be coming back. Hughes last season was a first-team All-SAA player who's had 37 career games played for the Tigers. Waiting for the confirmation from the officials here on what the penalty is. Looks like it's going to be a declined penalty. I believe it was holding. And considering that the result of the play was not a 1st down, makes sense they would want to decline that and let Tyler Huddle come out for the punt. And Huddle, you can notice him always by the oversized shirt that he wears underneath his jersey. It's actually a big American flag freedom shirt, as this one is a booming punt. Southwestern is going to field a return and going to get maybe about 5 there on the return before getting brought down. Huddle mentioned that the shirt is actually a gift from his late grandmother, and it's something that he's worn ever since her passing. And it's actually something that he hopes to continue wearing because he does have some hopes of kicking after college as well. And, he's got an effective range of about 60, 65 yards, depending on which way the wind blows. And he could definitely make it in post-collegiate play if there are any kicker-needy teams out there. as this one is blown up. Actually, the ball comes loose. Trinity says they have it. We'll see if the officials want to say he was down or not. Waiting for confirmation from the officials. I believe they're going to say he was down, but we have a player down. Sims is hurt.
As you can see in the replay, yeah, it looks like he was down. Nonetheless, good defense there by the Trinity Tigers. You know, unfortunately for Jackson Sims, you know, injured on the play. Hopefully he's okay.
Big hit was laid down there. We got the training staff for both Trinity and Southwestern out there helping him out. And while they take care of Sims, we are going to take a quick little break here on the Trinity Tiger Network.
Fumble recovery by Trinity. Recovery by Ryan Ventura.
Welcome back, everybody, here to Trinity University here in San Antonio, Texas. Getting ready here to resume after the injury to Jackson Sims. It was a turnover for Southwestern, so Trinity has the ball as Johnny Milo. He's going to get smothered up behind the line there. A good tackle there by Braden Cundiff, the freshman out of New Braunfels, just up the road. Played in all but last week's game against Sewanee. His 12 tackles and now make that 2.5 tackles for a loss. Kind of a late hit laid down there by Phelan as well. So the Trinity offense out there now, back in the gun. Milo to backs right and Huerta to the left. Now Milo motioning over. Tavares and Hancock are the receivers as it's a run up the middle. And not too much gained there. Gain of about 3.
So far today, the Trinity Tigers been utilizing that short run a lot. You know, picking up 2-3 yards. Then they'll hit a big throw for the first down. Or, you know, as we've seen a lot today, for the big touchdown.
And so now getting ready here for the fourth and final quarter of Senior Day. Trinity leading 28-0, and this will give us a good opportunity to kind of mention a few more of the players who, you know, might not get as much recognition. And one of those players on the offensive line, of course, we love to mention the offensive line as much as we can. There just aren't as many opportunities. And one of the offensive linemen, Reese Allison, fifth-year offensive lineman, who said that football is like a brotherhood to him, and he's made great friends. They're basically like family. Favorite memory for him actually wasn't a moment in a game or even a game overall. It was a practicing in the rain. He said that his shoes didn't dry out for a week, but just the experiences of being able to play with everybody and just have a lot of fun in the weather was one of those sort of core memories for him over the course of his career. And in his message to the Trinity fans, he said, "Thank you for all the support that you've given me and my teammates." And he added one final message at the end: "Make sure to enjoy the game." And we are getting ready to enjoy the fourth and final quarter here of Senior Day. Ryan Back still in the game here with Legend Grigsby over to the left-hand side. BJ Rainey going into motion with Tavares on the right-hand side. Taylor and Hancock in. It's going to be a throw over to Will Taylor, and trying to get there, unable to do so, just a bit overthrown, and off the mark there, intended for the junior wide receiver.
So we're going to see here in the replay, Ryan Beck looking downfield, found his man. There's just a little overthrown, possibly maybe a little in front of him. Nonetheless, still good look and, good throw.
And so Huddle getting ready here for this one. He had the game-winning kick from 38 yards against Barry. This one is going to be from 42. Good snap, good hold. Kick is up, and kick is good. So Tyler Huddle from 42 yards out gets that one up and gives Trinity now a 31-0 lead. Huddle, of course, mentioning during the Barry game, it was not really a statement win, but a much-needed one. Not only to keep their season hopes alive, but also to prove that this is still the same old Trinity team as everybody was used to there. And in a must-win situation, a walk-off field goal in overtime. Can't really ask for much more than that.
Yes, indeed. I mean, that game was a big overall team win. The Trinity Tigers came out and played Trinity football as a complete unit. And, while the Barry team is incredibly, incredibly strong and they've had a great season so far, Trinity was able to just barely best them.
One of Huddle's favorite stories that he mentioned in his football career is whenever he was in high school over in McKinney, in the middle of a game at halftime, the lights actually went out. They weren't able to get it back on, some sort of electrical error, and they actually had to drive about 15 minutes over to the school's old stadium just down the road, where they packed everything up. They put everything on the bus. They put everybody on the bus. All the fans got in their cars, drove over to the old stadium, and ended up playing out the second half of the game in a completely new stadium. And so that's one of the beautiful things about high school football in particular. You just get so many unique moments, so many unique stories from the lower levels. Because, of course, in the pros, everything normally works pretty well unless you're, I believe it was the Superdome, whenever the lights went out there at halftime, way back during the Super Bowl. But, whenever you're in the lower levels like high school, things can kind of get a little bit funky sometimes. As this is going to be a run here, and up to about the 30-yard line for the gain of about 4 or 5. I believe that the player currently in for quarterback is Peyton Eiderlead. Peyton Inderlead, the senior out of Flower Mound. Inderlead back in the gun. Phillips is the back at the moment. It's going to be a handoff Phillips, and Phillips powering forward, not able to get too much there. Maybe a gain of about 2, and once again, it's Cade Rapson in on the stop.
Trinity Tigers yet again showcasing how good of a defensive unit they are.
Of course, this is the final home game for quite a few seniors. One of the seniors is James O'Gunran, who mentioned he just wants to thank his family and friends for their support throughout his career, for making him the man that he is. But also, he gave a mention to the future Tiger linebacker recruits, or Tiger defensive recruits, as the ball is on the ground, smothered up behind the line. Cade Rapson. Inderlead was able to get there and pick it back up, but Rapson blew him up behind the line.
You're going to see in the replay, drop snap. And Robson was able to come in and bring him down.
I believe it was Diosdado, the freshman out of Forney, the one who was snapping that ball. It was either Diosdado or Elko out of Katy. But O'Gunran wanted to mention to the future Trinity linebacker recruits that even though whoever wears number 52 is going to have some pretty big shoes to fill after he leaves, he is going to have O'Gunneran's full support as Taylor picks this one up. He's moving over towards his right-hand sideline there, and he's got some blockers. He's up to midfield before finally getting brought down out of bounds, and from what could have been a pretty disastrous return there to moving up to midfield, that is a pretty good return there for Will Taylor. Multiple flags down the field, though. We're going to see what it's for. Was unable to hear what it was from up here. And we will have to see what the overall result is and try and work it out from there. But this is a senior day where everybody is just incredibly thankful. Of course, grateful for all the help that everybody has given over the last, few years of their respective careers. And whenever we talked with Coach Urban, he mentioned that, of course, Senior Day is a really special day for everybody. It is different from Alumni Weekend, of course, in which Trinity had a ton of former Tiger alums in for the game to help celebrate the big win. But also, it is still just as special. And, it's a very different type of emotion, obviously. Trinity got to see that last week against Hendrix for their Senior Day weekend. And he was really complimentary of the fifth years. The seniors last year who stuck it out with COVID and everything like that, who came in during COVID, and, of course, the seniors this year who came in 2021 is back. He's going to get flush out of the pocket. He's going to think about the throw, and instead he's going to take off with it for about a gain of about 4 before running out of bounds. Got a player down on the field.
Bryce Matthews on the tackle.
That player is number 90, Marion Williams-Jack, the defensive end out of Houston.
Officials timeout.
And while we take the injury timeout, we are going to take a look at the upcoming schedule for Southwestern. This is the final game of their conference schedule. They finished their season with 3 straight road games at Sewanee, which they won 35-10 last week on Saturday. Of course, the game at Trinity here today, and then next week they will go on the road to Seguin, where they will play TLU in a non-conference match to end out their season. Southwestern, of course, with kind of a unique schedule, not just a 4-6 home road split in their games, but also, of course, having to play an out-of-conference game for their final game. The reason for that is because they're taking the spot in the SAA from Birmingham Southern, who, of course, had that big miracle run in the NCAA D3 baseball playoffs to end the year, as Hutchinson is going to power this one forward across the line. Southwestern, of course, coming in, they didn't have contracts with anybody to play or to play home-and-home splits. They didn't have any way to do much of anything. And so they are having to play kind of a unique schedule. Ryan Back's still in for this one here. Majority of the starters still in for this one. Is Hutchinson going to go into motion? It's going to be a play action, and Back going to look. Pressure coming in his face, and Malloy unable to haul that one in.
Incomplete pass, second down.
Even though the starters are still in, this would be a pretty good time to start bringing in some backups. And, Andrew, I know that we talked about this a little bit after the Barry game. Maybe getting in some fourth quarter work. Would you like to take over play-by-play here just for a little bit?
I think for now I'll let you flush it out, considering it is your last game. Considering we'll see what happens here, and we'll go from there.
Sounds good to me. Back takes the snap. It's going to be a handoff, and not much of anything going there. there on the run was number 34, Jamel Nickerson, the freshman out of Cyprus. As some new faces for Trinity are getting rotated in and out. Southwestern, you can maybe see whenever we pull out to the wide shot there, Southwestern has brought quite a few fans here in for this game. Nothing like the Washington and Lee game, which was absolutely insane to see with all the away fans. But still, of course, you know, coming down from Georgetown, they are much more local than some of the other teams that we've seen. As back takes a snap. Pressure coming from all around him. Meharry able to block him. And the pass over to Milo is incomplete as Milo stepped out.
Incomplete pass, fourth down.
The center there protecting Ryan back was Joe Meharry. Meharry, a senior out of Dallas, Texas. And actually, fun fact, the older brother of one of the players who you will be seeing later tonight here on the Trinity Tiger Network, as Trinity will begin their basketball regular season here. The men started their season with a road scrimmage against D1 UTSA. They also won a game earlier on this weekend on the road. But Ivy Meharry, a freshman out of Dallas, Texas, is one of the new faces on this Trinity women's basketball roster, who you will be getting to see later on tonight. You'll also be able to see me later on tonight as well, as I will be down on the sidelines doing the same sideline reporting that I was doing last winter. Super excited to be continuing that here with the Trinity Tiger Network. So even though this is my final football game, it will not be the last time that you all have seen or heard from me. So always great continuing to be here with the Trinity Athletics program. This run is good for about 3 yards there, maybe 2 on the play, and looks like we're getting a lot more defensive substitutions here as we're getting a lot more new faces. One of those new faces, of course, Jarrett Phillips, who we mentioned earlier on. You see him on the far side safety. Actually, he's just off screen at the moment, as it is going to be a handoff here and a gain of about 2. Phillips, in his mention to the Trinity fans, he said that he just wanted to thank the Trinity community for embracing me and also pouring all this effort into me throughout my time here. I am super fortunate to have been a part of, to have been part of elite programs on and off the field, playing football and baseball while pursuing a degree in neurosciences has not been an easy track, but I can attribute my success to the people around me, as this throw is incomplete over the middle of the field. Phillips rounded out his message by saying, without all these people around me, none of this would have been possible. And it just goes to show how important family and friends are whenever you are playing in a sport like this at really any level. Whenever you're starting out as a kid to, you know, being a professional athlete to, you know, right now in the final home weekend of D3 football. The people around you are sometimes the most important ones. Getting ready to punt this one away here is Fournier. He averaged a bit over 40 yards per punt last week. He has 8 punts of 50-plus yards on the season. Got one of them last week against Sewanee. Going to get backed up just a little bit here. And so on 4th and 11, Fournier getting ready for the punt. Good snap, good hold. It's actually blocked, and it is taken away by Trinity. Ryan Ventura once again. Ventura has been everywhere over the last few weeks, and the freshman out of Southlake continuing to put in work here in his freshman campaign.
You can see on the replay, big block. Fournier actually got taken down there. This time, unfortunately in the last block, the Trinity Tigers were not able to get it. This time, it was different. Trinity Tigers able to get it, and they're in great field positioning.
And so now we are finally going to see some offensive substitutions here. Hondo Franklin in here for this game, the freshman out of Allen, Texas, who in 4 games played so far, 39 yards. All of those yards came against Bellhaven in the second week of the season. He's going to throw. This one is complete over to Baron Calden. And out of bounds at about the 8-yard line there. So a lot of new faces coming in here. A lot of faces that aren't really on the 2 deep. And so going to take a look at everybody here. And just actually saw Legend Grigsby coming off of the field. Got a big hug there from Coach Urban. So looks like his day is going to be pretty much done. And, it always is kind of hard to say goodbye to somebody who has been a part of this program for so many years, as this is a run up the middle. Gain of not too much there for Tyus McClarty. But Legend Grigsby, just wanted to say that the Trinity community has given me a strong sense of support, and I'm extremely grateful that I was lucky enough to land here. And Grigsby actually does a little bit of double duty, returning kicks as well, and his favorite memory actually is getting ready to return a kick, looking into the stands and seeing his father there, hyping him up, getting ready to celebrate a kick. And he ended up getting his first career kick return touchdown there, as that is a great play for the reception. No, they're going to say incomplete. B.J. Rainey had it in his hands. It was close. We're going to get the replay of it here.
As you can see in the replay, B.J. Rainey had it in his hands, maybe fell out right before he came down with it and resulted in an incomplete.
It looked like he had possession whenever he took the step in the end zone, but his back was to both of the officials whenever that, or whenever he came down with it, and I guess by the time that he had spun around, it was already incomplete. But Franklin takes a snap, 3-step drop, pressure coming. He looks, fires right side, incomplete, intended for Rainey there. Rainey was caught up there by the defender, J.P. Reyes, the safety out of Goliad.
Nonetheless, another good look there by Hondo Franklin, able to, identify his receiver downrange and get that ball there.
And so out comes Tyler Huddle, the man who says that he eats, sleeps, and breathes kicking. And, of course, whose favorite memory is getting that overtime field goal against Barry just 2 weeks ago. I want to say thank you for all the support to the Trinity fans over the last few years. Kicks this one straight through the uprights to make this one a 34-0 ball game.
With all this talk of Senior Day, one thing I'd like to recognize is the 7 seniors Tiger Network. Tiger Network, ladies and gentlemen, is what we're currently on. These seniors are behind the scenes. They're doing the cameras. They're in the booth right here with me, Caleb Reed. Just want to say thank you to all of them for making all this possible and making our lives up here in the booth so easy with those smooth replays as we just saw right there, and then all the graphics and all the audio. So thank you so much, guys, as well as everyone on the Tiger Network team.
This is a very special group of seniors. Well, not just seniors. I don't want to discount all the work that everybody else does as well. We've got so many, just amazing, great people here at the Trinity Tiger Network, and being able to cover football for the last 2 years has been nothing short of a blessing. And I'm very glad to have gotten to spend, obviously this last season with you, the season before that with Cole and Luke, and of course everybody in the control room who's made this, an incredible experience. As this kick is going to be taken in at about the 3-yard line, tries to spin around and going to get swallowed up at the 20-yard line. Looking at the upcoming schedule, Trinity, this is their final home game, of course, of the season. They go on the road to Jackson, Mississippi to play at Millsaps. Jackson, of course, the same place where they went to face Bellhaven in week 2 of the season. Cade Rabson was credited there for coming in on that tackle, and whenever we asked him for a message that he wanted to give to the fans, he just said that he wanted to thank everybody, friends, family, supporters, of course, all of his fifth year and graduate student teammates, and everybody who has believed in him along the way for making this entire journey possible. It's a very special day for everybody here in San Antonio. And super fortunate to be covering this game for you all. It's going to be a run here by the quarterback, and going to get swallowed up at about the looks like with forward progress, they're going to move it up to about the 27.
Peyton to lead on the carry.
So the final from the center game is Rhodes 20, center 49, making it more and more likely that center will end up as conference champions, or at least co-champions with Barry. And it'll be a bit difficult here for Trinity to secure the AQ. They could obviously play for the win next week. That's something that Coach Urban talked about. You always play for the win. You don't really want to focus on the playoff scenarios because that could kind of take you out of the mental headspace a little bit. But with the playoffs potentially happening, next week, of course, for center, they will play against, I can't remember, I believe, yes, next week they will play at home for their senior day against Sewanee. So there is a chance that Sewanee could end up upsetting center. And if that does occur, and if Trinity does win, Trinity will be conference championship, or will be conference champions due to the or due to their strength of schedule over center, as that is a run for first down. However, nothing is guaranteed, and so that's why we're most likely saying that this is the second to last game of the season for these seniors.
Nonetheless, there's always still hope that, you know, some miracles can happen, and for the Trinity Tigers, their season continues.
Whenever we talked with head coach Bill Kriesel, he mentioned that Trinity Week is always kind of a little bit special for Southwestern. Of course, Trinity and Southwestern rivals, not just in the SAA, but also in the SCAC in other sports, as that is a good run up to the 50-yard line. Close to the first down. Not sure if they're going to give it to him, and they're going to say he's about a half-yard short. Of course, Trinity and Southwestern always play each other pretty well. I remember the final game of softball last year at home was against Southwestern, and so they always play each other in pretty much every sport every year. And so it's a big game for the athletes in particular who see the black and gold of the Pirates fairly regularly. This run goes absolutely nowhere, smothered up at the line, as Zay Hernandez, the freshman of Kyle and Lehman High School, is the one who got brought down there.
Gabe Irvine on the tackle.
Timeout being called here. And so while we have this timeout, we'd just like to kind of shout out a few more players as well, and get a few more words in from our seniors. Max Shilstone, one of the defensive linemen who's been in for the majority of the game, believe he is not in at the moment, of course, due to being rotated out. But he mentioned that, you know, football is everything. Has given an opportunity to experience wins, losses, the good, the bad, and basically everything in between. And it's given, you know, friends, experiences that he will personally never be forgetting. And And his favorite memory is being able to have his grandfather in the stands, not just for all of his games in middle school and high school, but also for all of his games here at Trinity as well. And, once again, the family connection, huge for these players. And he just wanted to say, I am thankful for the teammates, coaches, and people that I've met while I've been on this journey. And I am extremely thankful for their support. That's something that has been echoed all up and down the Trinity football roster throughout this whole experience, as this is a little dump-off pass, good for the first down and brought down about 5 yards past, up to the 45-yard line.
Low snap there by the Southwestern, center. Almost bad. We had a lot of Trinity defenders right in the face of Peyton Inderled. And, somehow he was able to get a little dump pass off and get that first down.
This is going to be another handoff here, actually breaking through and gets upended there was the linebacker Jaden Powell, the junior out of Corinth, Texas, who didn't play last week but has played in every game besides that.
Another good little run there for a first down and continue into the drive.
And so, again, the current quarterback in is Peyton Inderlead, who actually takes off with it himself. He's going to get across the first down marker up to about the 26-yard line.
Southwestern seems to be just run down the clock, not really giving Trinity another chance to do much of anything, and hopefully maybe get 7 out of this drive to put up some points and make a positive out of this game.
This is a Trinity team that has done extremely well for themselves. Of course, the defense has been lights out since week 1, but as Inderlead is going to take off with it himself, he's going to get brought down there by a host of Tigers. But this is a team that has had a huge turnaround from the start of the season to now, as we hit the 2-minute warning. And one of the things that Coach Urban talked about actually was that big turnaround, and he mentioned he didn't give any of the credit to himself or to the coaches. It was all about the leadership within the team, and talking about how everybody knows they won't be defined by their biggest wins or their biggest losses, and talking about how the life skills that have been taught through this team are some of the most important parts of playing Tiger football. And, it's just a very special time getting to cover games here for Trinity. Of course, every team always brings their best whenever they go to Trinity or play Trinity at home. Coach Urban kind of called Trinity everybody's Super Bowl. And that's also something that was repeated by quite a few players. John Hughes, of course, the left tackle, mentioned that, Southwestern probably sees Trinity a bit more of a rival than Trinity sees Southwestern. But it's always great to play Texas teams. He said that he really wants to go up against more Texas teams, honestly. The Mary Hardin Baylors, the Hardin Simmons, McMurray, teams of that nature who, are local, can bring more fans in and stuff like that and really create a great atmosphere. But it is a great atmosphere nonetheless, as this is a run that's stuffed hard at the line. Of course, we had the tailgate earlier today for Senior Day. We've got still a pretty packed house in the stands as well, or at least on the Trinity side. And just overall, a great time to be a Trinity Tiger here. As with 1:53 to go, we have another timeout being called.
Another thing that Hughes actually mentioned was that not only is it great playing Texas teams just because they're local, it's because a lot of these guys, especially on the Trinity side and Southwest side, they grew up playing together. They grew up playing in high school. They maybe played youth ball, and here they are in college, still going head to head.
That's one of the big things about being in such a local area, or local area. Of course, Southwestern, just a couple hours up the road in Georgetown, a couple hours depending on how traffic is on I-35. But From Cyprus, of course, we've got a lot of athletes here from Cyprus. One of the first that jumps to mind is softball outfielder Hayden Del Toro. We've got a lot of them on the football team. We've got a lot of Cyprus people in basketball and a bunch of other sports as well. And, of course, there are a couple people from Cyprus as well on the Southwestern squad. And so it's a very local recruiting pool. It's a very local team building here for not just Trinity, but also Southwestern. And so it kind of means that you get to carry over some of those high school rivalries, or you get to start working with some of your high school rivals after graduating. And so as we get ready here, 1:44 left to go here in the fourth quarter. Southwestern's here with the ball, just trying to run this clock down. Again, Trinity will go on the road next week, heading over to Jackson, Mississippi. We'll be flying out there and heading over to Jackson Airport. Whereas Southwestern going to be driving on over to Seguin, just 30 minutes away from Trinity, so about an hour and 45 minutes away from Georgetown. Southwestern going to go for it here on 4th down and 1. Going to take the snap. He's going to run out to the left-hand side, going to fight forward, and I believe they're going to give it to him. And they are indeed.
And a good little short run there. Able to pick up that first down and, keep their drive going, keep running down the clock.
First down on the 15.
Coach Urban said that last year, the big 57-7 victory over Southwestern was all about executing, and this is a team that has definitely executed here today. As you see, once again, executing on the defensive side of the ball. A great stop there as now got a player down. The running back here for Southwestern is Zay Hernandez. Be light on that knee. We are going to take a quick break here on the Trinity Tiger Network, and we will be right back after Hernandez is helped.
Second down and 11.
Welcome back, everybody, to San Antonio and the Trinity Tiger Network here on Senior Day. As we have hit the final minute, 15 seconds here of this game, Hernandez was helped off the field, hoping that he will be all right. You never want to see injuries, especially in a blowout game like this, but the injury bug has kind of bit both teams a little bit here. Of course, Southwestern missing their leading wide receiver on the year, Aiden Huerta, but also for Trinity, they have also been bitten by the injury bug as well just a little bit. Tyson Cornett out for this game. TJ Scannell likely out for the rest of the season due to injury. Max Shilson has been banged up. Johnny Moboto has been banged up as Interlead throws this one, and it is caught for the touchdown. A great play there to kind of salvage a little bit of a to kind of salvage a little bit of a lost game. The sibling connection there as Garrett Inderlead was the receiver on the catch, the freshman wide receiver out of Flower Mound. Freshman to freshman, brother to brother, ends up getting the touchdown and giving Southwestern some points to avoid a shutout. Kick is up and kick is good.
Despite the, as we're going to see on this replay, brother to brother right there.
One-handed as well. Great job there.
Yeah. Despite the big blowout, well, not necessarily a big blowout, but despite the discouraging score for Southwestern, definitely positive right there. A brother-to-brother touchdown. I believe it's the first one of the season. I believe it's Inderlead's first touchdown in his career, quite possibly. So still, a big moment, and especially for the, both Inderlead brothers' parents, quite a special moment.
And, of course, being able to do that as freshmen as well. It is the first passing touchdown for the quarterback, Inderlead. And in terms of receiving, I believe it is the first not only reception, but the first receiving touchdown of the career for the Garrett Inderlead as well. And even though this is kind of a discouraging score for Southwestern, of course, Coach K mentioned that this is a team that, even though the results might not be flowing in, they are still growing every single day. This is a team that has a lot of freshmen, a lot of sophomores, and so a lot of players who are still kind of growing into themselves and trying to figure out who they are as a team. And so, being able to still compete even though they're down so much is really a good sign of their strength and their character, as still cutting through and moving around. A great play there by the kick returner, Raleigh Strode, the freshman out of San Antonio, on that kick return. Brings it up to I believe past the 30. Yeah, they're going to mark it down at the 34-yard line.
It's going to be interesting to hear, what Trinity choose to do, whether they, take the kneel, close it out, or they try to take a shot down and build something.
Currently in the game at quarterback is Will Vasky. Vasky got a little bit of work last year as a freshman at quarterback. Haven't seen him a ton so far here today, as now we have a flag. Believe it's going to be for delay of game. It is going to be delay of game, and so that'll push them back 5 for 1st and 15. Vasky last season, again, got more work in as a quarterback, but has kind of been shuffled down through the depth chart, as a lot of contact there on that reception attempt. No flag going to be called there, as it was Douglas Eder, the freshman out of Lamarck, Texas, who was there. And, yeah, that looked like a... I mean, I know that the score is kind of out of hand, but that still looked like a lot of contact there on that reception attempt. It's Camden Terry, the defensive back, who was in coverage. Vasky takes a 3-step drop. He throws, tipped up and incomplete. Intended there for Cameron Myers-Campos, the freshman out of Waco.
That looked actually to be Hondo Franklin there on the play. Seems to be like they're rotating in Franklin and Vasky just to get them, kind of comfortable in game time decision and get them, making some throws.
Of course, there is going to be a quarterback competition next year, I'm sure. as Ryan Back will be graduating, of course. Won't be able to take the injury 5th year. There are a couple of players who are going to be able to take injury 5th years. Johnny Moboto is one of them. As this is going to be a run of about 4 yards there. And Trinity only 1 timeout left. Clock continuing to roll down. They are rotating people in and out, so we'll see if they try and go for another play here. With 10 seconds left to go, everybody moving towards midfield now. And that will do it. Senior Day ends with smiles and celebration as Trinity comes away with a 34-7 victory over the Southwestern University Pirates. A big game to end it out here at home for the seniors. And, of course, a game that keeps them alive in the conference. Still needs some help from the outside. But, you know, there's always a chance. And even though the odds aren't in the favor, as I believe it was Han Solo who once said, never tell me the odds, we're going to do this. And there is still a chance that things could happen next weekend. Make sure to follow the Trinity socials for any updates of what could or could not happen. But either way, no need to focus on tomorrow because right now we need to focus on today. Trinity wins 34-7 over the Southwestern University Pirates. And Andrew, final home game of the season here. What did you think of that one?
I thought it was a great team win, good combination. As we've seen the last couple of weeks, we've seen the full Trinity team. The defense has been astounding all year. Hats off to them, as well as the offense. This last couple of weeks have been, great. Ryan Beck, has been playing amazing. He's made a lot of big plays, especially some today, and just kind of seeing the full Trinity team come together, especially on a day like today, Senior Day. Coming together for a big win. And, hopefully it continues the season.
And so, again, Trinity will be going on the road here next weekend. They will be going over to Jackson, Mississippi. Southwestern also going to be on the road, but not too far away. They're going to be going to Seguin. Of course, you saw earlier there Coach Kriesel talking with not only the Trinity coaching staff, but also a few of the Trinity players. And what a fantastic game this was for the Tigers. Ryan Back ends the day 222 yards, 20 of 28, 2 touchdowns and a pick on a 71% completion percentage. A 153.9 QBR as he is waving the Trinity flag with the players singing the fight song. Meanwhile, on the ground, Winston Hutchison leads the day of all rushers, only 40 yards on 8 attempts, average of 5 yards per carry. Of course, again, the Southwestern rushing defense was huge all day long. A big reason why those rushing numbers aren't as big as they normally are. In terms of receiving, B.J. Rainey and Will Taylor both getting receiving touchdowns. Rainey led the team in terms of yards, actually tied in terms of receiving yardage with legend Grigsby. On the Southwestern side of things, Jalen Spriggs ends the day 5 of 14, 37 yards and 2 picks. The only passing touchdown was by Peyton Inderlead. 2 for 3, 23 yards and a touchdown. No picks for the freshman. On the ground, Devin Phillips was actually the leader on the ground for this team, as Leroy Rodriguez, the big name to highlight coming into this game, was just unable to do too much. Phillips ends the day, 15 attempts, 65 yards on the ground. The leading receiver for Southwestern was Blake Garcia with 1 reception and 21 yards. And so that'll do it here for us on the football field, at least, unless we get a playoff game. Again, make sure to check all the socials to figure out if and when that may be. And again, if this is the end for football, it has been an incredible season. Trinity moves up to now 7-2 on the year with 1 more game left. But this is not the end for the Trinity Tiger Network, we will be covering basketball as well as softball and baseball for you in the spring. And right now, go ahead and get away from those screens for a little bit and get ready to come back later on tonight whenever the Trinity women's basketball team will play their home opener against the University of Mary Hardin Baylor starting at 6 p.m. So again, my name has been Caleb Reed. It has been a pleasure to call this football season for you. If you are only watching for football, thank you for watching. It has been a pleasure. And if you plan on watching any more, I will see you all later tonight whenever Trinity takes on UMHB. So, that has done it. Andrew, it's been a pleasure working in the booth with you this season. And everybody in the control room, it has been a pleasure getting to work with all of you this year as well. But that'll do it for us here from Tiger Stadium. Tigers win at 34-7 in Senior Day. And I hope that you all have a wonderful evening. Take care, everybody.
Every morning, we rise, ready to meet our human potential, to take that next incremental step, to do the hard work that changes. Set in our preparedness and confidence in that moment when you know, I've got this. And then, we rise. Each of us, all of us. We rise as passions coalesce in research, art, athletics, and beyond. We rise to the challenge of inquiry and discovery through undergraduate research and hands-on learning. We rise through the personal attention of a small college, fueled by large university resources. We rise to the need for listening across differences, teaching the art and the act of conversation. We rise to the sounds of a vibrant, diverse, and culturally rich city, and we reflect it. At Trinity University, we recognize that you are here because you are ready to rise. And through a love of learning and a life of learning, we will challenge you to always reach beyond the horizon. Because your future awaits.